เราจะต้องไปทำงานกับคนต่างชาติเนี่ยเราเลือกไม่ได้นะครับว่าจะเจอชาติไหนเราสร้างความคุ้นเคยไว้ก่อนนะครับวันนี้ก็เป็นโอกาสที่ดีที่เราก็ได้นะครับผู้สปีกเกอร์ของเรามาจากประเทศฟิลิปปินส์ดังนั้นใครมีประเด็นที่จะเกี่ยวข้องที่จะถามทางเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของฟิลิปปินส์เนี่ยก็เรียนเชิญนะครับขอย้ำนิดนึงนะครับสำหรับการสอบถามเนี่ยถ้าเป็นประเด็นเรื่องที่จะก่อให้เกิดความขัดแย้งนะครับในด้านเชื้อชาติศาสนาหรืออะไรก็ของดไปนะฮะเพราะว่าเพื่อให้ทางผู้บรรยายเกิดความสบายใจนะครับเรายังมีผู้บรรยายของเรารอต่อคิวอีก13ท่านนะฮะโอเคนะครับ hello Mr. Ricmar can you hear me
Yes. Hello, Director Pricha. How are you?
I'm very good. So nice to see you here and would like to thank for your joining and devoting your time for talking to us today. So I don't want to waste your time so much because we would like our participants to practice and to learn that how you talk in a Filipino style with the accent in English. So I would like to give the floor to you. So please take the floor.
Okay, thank you so much, Director Pricha. Right now, I will share my screen for my presentation. Wait for a second. Does anyone seen my screen already? Could someone type yes on the chat box for me? Okay. Wait for a while. Let me just have 2%. Okay, there you go. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great fun learning the basic English communication skills organized by the Royal Forest Department of Thailand. Before I start my presentation, I would just like to introduce myself. Okay, my name is Ricmar P. Magarin. I am from the Philippines. I am now currently working as a faculty member at Mindanao State University in the Philippines. And prior to my transfer to the academe, I was working Wait, does anyone, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me just, I was working at the Department of Environment and Natural Resources for almost 5 years, where my responsibilities includes watershed management and reforestation projects. So basically, my presentation will be divided into 2 parts. The first part will be about the brief background about our country, the Philippines, and the forest management strategy that we are doing. And the second part will be about how I developed my communication skills using English language and what are the tips in order for me or for you guys to improve your English communication skills as well. So our country is an archipelago, which means it is composed of different islands. Currently, we have 7,640 islands. In terms of population, we have 108 million people in our country. We are second to Indonesia in the ASEAN region. And geographically, our country is divided into 3 major island groups, which is the Luzon, where the economic center is located and the industries can be found. The Visayas island group, it is where the tourism industry can be found, and Mindanao, the island group that I came from, are known for as the basket food of the country, in which most of the agricultural products and food that we get in the country are being produced and cultivated by farmers. So in terms of language, the Philippines has 2 official languages, Filipino and English. We adopted English as official languages as a product of colonization by the Americans for 48 years, and it has been continued in the tradition up until to this date, and even some cultures of the Americans are being embraced also and being part of the tradition that we're really living right now. And also, aside from these two languages, the country also has 182 dialects. These are the local dialects that are spoken by different ethnic groups around the islands. In terms of religion, 80% are Roman Catholics and followed by Islam. So as a diverse culture, we also celebrated several festivals around the country, and these are some of the festivals that we celebrate. It shows different tapestry, different colors, vibrant colors that each region's culture are being represented. And also we have a similar festival that where we celebrate what like a water festival is very similar to Thailand, the Songkran festival. We also have some parts of the country that also celebrate that kind of festival. So as an island nation, we are known to some of the beautiful beaches around the country. And these are some of the places that you need to visit if you come or if you are happen to visit the Philippines. We have here the famous Palawan Islands, the Siargao Islands, the Chocolate Hills, in which it's like a landscape. When it's dry season, the landscape will just turn into brown and it looks like chocolates. So in terms of the economy, the Philippines is considered now as the newly industrial country. We are now transitioning from an agricultural base into service-based economy. And tourism contributed 10% of the total economy or GDP of the country. But right now, due to the unprecedented COVID-19 situation, the industry has been affected, and lots of people that are depending on ecotourism sector or tourism in general are being affected and having to have no job during this COVID pandemic. So in terms of land area, we have a total area of 30 million hectares. So basically our land area are being classified into two categories right now. We have the alienable and disposable land, which accounts for 14.2 million hectares. This category of land are those land intended for agricultural production and also those land that are intended for real estate developments and are subject for titling and ownership by individual people or groups in particular. And the remaining 15.8 million hectares are classified as forest land. So basically it means that this area, these lands are being subject for forestry purposes such as wood production, timber plantation, ecotourism site, and this is not subject for ownership. So basically, in terms of management and ownership, the Philippine government has all the mandates to take care and own and manage this tract of land. So in terms of forest cover, currently our forest cover is 22% in proportion to the total land area of the country. In the past, in 1930s, during the colonization period, during the American colonization and Japanese, Philippines has been known in the timber market, and the forestry sector has contributed more than 50% of the total GDP in the country. However, due to excessive logging operations and the control of forest land by big logging corporations, the forest cover has decreased in 1988 into whopping 6 million, more or less 6 million hectares only. And through the effort of the government to reforest and revitalize the forest cover in the area through various interventions or government policies and reforestation programs, we are now trying to get back the forest that we lost. Currently, we have 7.1 million hectares in terms of forest cover. And these forest covers are divided into three. We have closed forests where the tropical forest can be found, open forests where the production forest can be found, and also we have mangrove ecosystem at around 303,000 hectares. So in terms of contribution of forestry to the gross domestic product in the country. The sector only accounts to 0.1% to the gross domestic product of the Philippines. It's very low compared in the past, but I think many outlook reports have stated that it will get better soon with the intervention that the government has been doing, and in order to secure the local requirements for food, wood supplies, and other forest products. So how the Philippines are forest land in the Philippines are being managed? We have this program, community-based forest management, which is also same with Thailand, where a certain tract of land are being managed by the community, allowing them to utilize the resources within in a sustainable manner, and also getting economic benefits from the resources that can be found in the area. So 1.6 million hectares are being now managed by the communities through sustainable forest management, of which 169,159 are the beneficiaries. Most of them are male, around 102,936, and female around 56,223. So let's focus now on English language in the Philippines. As you may have known, Philippines is one of the largest speaking nation in the world. Based on this report, we rank fifth in the number of English speakers. I think this could be traced back in the history during the colonization time, especially during the American occupation in the country for 40, 80 years. We have been taught how to speak English, and also the media has been influenced by Western culture, and English as a language has been widely used during the occupation of the Americans in the country, and has been transferred into generations up until this day. And also, we are known as the business outsourcing. In terms of business processing outsourcing, the Philippines is known in which 26 billion been contributed to the Philippine economy, and it employs 1.3 million people in the country. Mostly these people are those who can speak English language fluent, and been educated as well. Why is not moving? Oh, there. I'm sorry. So let's now proceed with how I develop my English communication skills. So personally, I developed my English language skills in terms of communicating, writing, and speaking could be traced back when I was a child. At an early age, my parents would usually taught me what are the colors like blue, red, and also numbers, how to count numbers in English. Those are the foundation that I get as in my childhood days. And also education has been a great platform for me to learn and develop English communication skills, because in the Philippines, I think it's also same with Thailand, that English has been part of the curriculum from the elementary up to the university level. So we are required to speak English. We are required to write our communication at work using English. We present our plans in English. So we spoke like our native, like when I was working at the Department of Environment, we spoke our native language when we're dealing with the indigenous people or the rural communities upland. So when we are at our office, we usually speak a combination of our native language and English, and most of our communications, such as letters, presentations, engagement with different stakeholders, LGUs, are all in English. So in 2018, I was given the opportunity to study at the People's Republic of China in Beijing. And that experience has contributed a lot in developing further or amplifying my English communication skills. What I usually do is I engage in conversations with different people. So at the university, there's a lot of international students that are studying from different corners of the world. And these people also have different kinds, different style of communications. Through the engagement with them, through conversations, through events, I have learned that each country has its own unique style in conversing or conveying a message to a particular audience or to other people as well. We have also different accent. Like for instance, I have friend in Russia. The way she converse with other people is very straightforward, and it's like she's angry, but that's totally normal for her. Like it's part of their culture, and the how to say accent is not a weakness in terms of your communication skills. I think the accent that we have, also Philippines also have a very thick accent as well. Is you can distinctly find that the particular person who's speaking is Filipino through accent. I think accent is a distinction, like it's an identity, like it diversify the communication that we are having in a certain group of people. Also, I like watching TED Talks. I'm sure you're familiar with TED Talks and TV series, movies with subtitles. As early as in the elementary days, the first movie that I saw is Titanic with the subtitles. From there on, I was very curious with the English words. I usually write it on a notebook. Like if I read something on the screen that is not familiar with me, I always write it on a piece of paper, and then later on I will find the meaning on the dictionary. Oh, this particular word means this one. So it's part of the process that I did in order to be more fluent and to develop my communication skills using English language, because for me, I'm a very shy person. I'm an introvert. My social battery is low. I don't like social interaction. I just like myself isolated from other people. But through my experience in China and working at the Department of Environment, it has improved or enhanced to communicate or to engage into conversations with different people. Also, I like to read books, especially those with uh, in the field of psychology or basically something about life. You know what? If you read books, a lot of new words you will encounter, and that particular reading of books could enhance the vocabulary or the uses or the words that you know. So this would help you to communicate in your communication skills, especially when dealing with international friends. As for us, you know, we are working in the government, and from time to time, communication is important because our country cannot do it alone. We need to reach out to other economies or other countries to also learn. So communication and English as the universal language is very important for us to connect, to have a network with other people or with other economies or countries in order for also in our country to improve and to have a sort of networking among us and in the forestry sector. Also, social media platforms is very dominant right now, especially during the pandemic where people are usually staying at home, and social media has become a communication tools for us to communicate with our relatives that are living outside our country or living in different parts of the country. So it's a useful and powerful tool for us to communicate. And also, right now, through the technological advancement, we get the information quickly. Like a lot of the speakers, like the after English afternoons. She's a famous YouTuber teaching English language to Thai people, and so it's a very powerful tool for us to learn, and we should take advantage of that if we want to improve or enhance our English communication skills. It's free as long as you have unstable internet connections. You can spare time in your busy life to just watch and learn and never stop learning. And these social media platforms are very useful. It will teach us how to communicate, not just in speaking, writing, and but also in conveying our message clearly to the audience or the specific person that we are engaging with. Sorry. So these are some, just a disclaimer, I am no expert about English communications. I don't have a degree in English and I am not a certified teacher of English language. But what I'm trying to share with you all is the tips that help me improve my communication skills. This is just based on my personal experience as I go along my life's journey. So, number one is nobody is perfect. So, this means that it's okay to commit mistakes, it's okay to mispronounce words, it's okay to misspell a particular English words, it's okay to have an accent, it's okay to, you know, to commit mistakes when communicating using English. Nobody is perfect. Even the native English speakers, Americans, British, Australians also commit mistakes. If you look at grammatically, technically, they also commit mistakes, misspell. So I think we should embrace that since we are learning, it's okay for us to commit mistakes. What is not okay for us in developing our communication skills is to not try. Like we should keep on trying and we should learn from mistakes. That's how we grow in a particular field that we're going to pursue or to improve our English communication skills. Second is to have a confidence, be calm, and take control. This is in terms of speaking, like if you are in a certain group and you're speaking with different people and it's your time to convey your message and to have you share your ideas, be confident, have confidence, and one of the one of the few things as for my experience to have confidence is when I feel nervous, I usually do like hand gestures, movements, I look in the eyes because sometimes when we convey a message to a particular certain group of people, words are not enough. We need to have an eye contact. We need to how to say take some body movements, hand gestures to fully convey the message that we are going to uh, to came across to a particular group of people. And you just have to become like when you practice to become, you will not stutter the words that coming out from your mouth. So it will have you the ability to take the conversation lightly and just let the words coming out from our mouth easily without stuttering or without jumbling the words. And also take control. Don't let other people take control. You know your truth, you know your message that you're going to convey to certain people. So you need to have that control. Because you should have a mental fortitude that you know your message well and you know what you are trying to say. You just have a barrier on conveying it, and we should not let like other people to take control of that. So the fourth is to be a sponge and absorb anything useful. When we had a training with RFD last week, I remember this one staff from the Royal Forest Department where she said that I really like involving in this kind of training because it improved my English skills and communication. I think when we are trying to enhance our communication skills and to be better, I think we should take every opportunity to learn. We should engage, not just engage, we just absorb. When we are being corrected, like, oh, you mispronounced this kind of word, you just have to take all this criticism and get the useful criticisms and help us improve. You need to absorb everything useful and also be open to opportunities like this, like uh, trainings, like gatherings that involves different people with different cultures. This will help us engage into a meaningful discussion and to improve how we convey and how we communicate and how to get our message across to different kinds of people from different backgrounds. The second is we should get out of our comfort zone. So when we feel like, oh, I'm doing this job, I might have to settle on this one. So I think our mentality should shift to not just being comfortable, but to take challenges, like to get out of our comfort zone and to learn things and to expand our horizons, because the world is a huge platform with large of opportunities, a lot of opportunities for us to grow and to develop our certain skills in life, not just in communication skills, but as well as our knowledge in forest management. So we need to get out of our comfort zone and take risks and open to challenges that would help us grow, because growth is painful, but at the end of the day it will pay off to our advantage. We will be skilled, we will be empowered, and we're able to learn new things, because in this lifetime we are all students. We never stop learning. Even though we're finished in the university, in our job, we're still learning how to do things. If we get married, we learn things on how to manage the family. So it's like a constant learning in our life that we should be open and keep on learning. And last is, learning is a never-ending process. We should be open to opportunities and be open to new doors, be open to different people, be open to the possibilities, and to take risks, because life is not certain. We will always came across with different challenges, and we need to learn and to grow along the process. And I think that would be all. Thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you, Ricmar, for the very nice presentation, very informative for the Philippines, and at the same time for the nice word for encouraging the people here to learn more in English. I'm quite impressed on your word that you say. Life is quite short. Then we have to think about that. How could we learn during that we still living in this planet of Earth? And at the same time, it should be focusing on the lifelong learning. So from now on, I would like to open the floor to everyone that will talk to you in the very free style. If they wanted to talk about the lifestyle of the Filipino food, culture, and everything. Just a little bit that I will announce it in Thai. ครับทุกท่านครับก็คงได้รับฟังไปแล้วนะครับว่าทางคุณลิกมาเนี่ยก็ได้มีการนำเสนอทางเกี่ยวกับประเทศฟิลิปปินส์มีประเด็นที่น่าสนใจเยอะนะครับโดยเฉพาะเรื่องของนะฮะภูมิประเทศที่เขาสวยงามเพราะว่าเขาเป็นประเทศที่ประกอบด้วยหมู่เกาะทั้ง 7,000 เกาะนะครับมีความหลากหลายสูงมากเลยนะครับฟิลิปปินส์เป็นประเทศที่อยู่ในโซนของฮอตสปอตนะครับที่เรียกวงแหวนไฟนะฮะมีเรื่องของการได้รับพายุแล้วก็เรื่องแผ่นดินไหวต่างๆมากมายนะครับและที่สำคัญคือสาวฟิลิปปินส์นี่สวยมากนะครับได้รับตำแหน่งนางงามจักรวาลนี่ตั้งเยอะเลยนะฮะก็ตอนนี้เราจะขอเปิดฟลอร์นะครับคุยกับเขานะครับผมอยากที่จะกระตุ้นให้ทุกคนเนี่ยพยายามที่จะพูดคุยกับเขาเพราะว่าเป็นโอกาสที่ดีที่เราจะได้มีโอกาสในการสื่อสารกับทางคนต่างชาติโดยตรงเอานะครับใครที่พร้อมแล้วขอเรียนเชิญได้เลยนะครับ
So I think I have a question here, like from 150. Hello, good afternoon. Do you have any question? Hello, you may now ask if you have anything.
My name is Practise.
I think your connection is...
My signal is very low.
Yes, I think your connection is pretty low.
And I write to
maybe you can
in chat.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Is this yes, I clearly hear you. I think it's
my question.
I think this is
have island that not
So let me just read it for you. So your question is, in my country, do we have an island that are not inhabited? If we can take the wild in your country that have the island that have people living it, if you can take the wild. So in as I mentioned in my presentation, our country is composed of almost 7,600 islands. So some of these islands are being inhabited, or there are people or communities living around, and there are also some islands that are not being inhabited. As to the question, if we could take a wild elephant, I remember like there are some organization or like an agreement between our neighbor ASEAN countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, I think Sri Lanka, to engage into trading with wildlife animal. But in our case, as far as I know, we only have wild elephants at the zoo. But as to the agreements between the governments for the wild elephants to be taken care of in our country and for reproduction, for getting the population increase, I think we still don't have that kind of agreement. But we have elephant that's can only be found at zoo or recreational parks. I hope I respond to your question. So if anyone have a question, you may type it on the chat box. So thank you, Ricmar. Very interesting presentation. How different among closed forests and open forests? Oh, that's very interesting question. Open forest, in our own definition, in our legal terms, in our country, open forests are those forest areas with more than 40% of the canopy cover. So basically, the population that can be found in those areas are usually on mature stage of reforestation, rehabilitation, or in its way to climax. So those areas, open forests, are those who have 40% canopy cover, are usually tropical rainforests in our country, who are being categorized as protected areas. However, the closed forests are those areas, forest lands in our country that has less than 40% forest cover and are subject for production forests, where timber harvesting and plantation development are allowed on a sustainable manner. So I think that would be the difference between these two forest classifications. Anything else? Good afternoon. Thank you. And just a very fun fact, when I went to China to study, the first person that I became friend is from Thailand. Her name is Raviv. I don't know if I pronounced her name properly. She was also working at the Royal Forest Department. She's very nice, very lovely smile, and very hospitable around me. We usually go to class, and Thai people are known for their smile, warm, and hospitality, and also the food are amazing. What else? Due to the diversity of nationalities in the Philippines, the government has a way of managing forests. Due to diversity of nationalities. So as I mentioned in my presentation, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, which is a government agency, is the one who is mandated to take care of the forest resources or the forest land in the area, in the country. But the government cannot do it alone. So that's why we engage into tenurial instruments, or we let local governments, we let local communities to manage a certain parcel of forest land, for them to manage its resources, utilize non-timber forest products, engage into development activities with private entities. Those kinds of things are being one of the strategies to manage the forest resources in the country. I think someone just raised her or his hand. I don't know if question. So anyone else, you could just type your questions on the chat box. You know, let's make this conversation like interactive. It's like friend talking to a friend. After all, we're just neighbors, the ASEAN, right? So how was
Okay,
the
I have one question. Before the seeing all the questions coming, so I have the question in my mind. Okay, people will always perceive that. So a lot of the Filipino ladies is addressed to be the most beautiful ladies on earth, and also that they got a lot of awarded of the universe beauties. So do you think that what the factors that make the beautiful ladies of the Filipinos to be the top of the beauty of the world and universe?
I think it has something to do with our culture. Like we are a very pageant loving countries in the world. Like we have three B's. We love boxing, we love beauty pageants, and we love basketball. So in a common family setting in the Philippines, like childrens are encouraged by parents to join like beauty contests like at an early age in our elementary days. The teachers or the school organize like a beauty pageant contest where the students could learn, and it has become a culture nowadays. Like there are some companies that offers how to train beauty queens. I think that's also one of the factors that the Philippines have a high success rate in terms of international beauty pageants.
So far, how many of the Filipino ladies that's awarded of the Miss Universe
I think
awarding?
for the Miss Universe, I think we have four. We
Wow.
already have four. The last
Oh.
one is Catriona Gray. I think she was crowned in Bangkok, Thailand, last 2018.
One thing that's quite impressed has been traveling abroad, because we always got the greeting by the accidentally that are you Filipinos or something like that. It seems that the Thai people and Filipino people is quite look like the same, and actually it should be the same because we are quite family for the friendliness, open mind, and also smiling. I think that is a really good characteristic that make the Filipino and Thais is quite similar.
Yes, I also agree. Like based on experience, when I was still studying in China, I always mistaken for Thai. Like some Chinese would always say, "Ni shi Thai Warren ma." Like, are you from Thailand? And then when we went to shop to the mall, some Chinese would always say, "Are you from Indonesia?" And then our teacher in one of our subjects, he asked me, "Are you from Malaysia?" So if you look at the physical features among the ASEAN countries, I think we pretty much have the same physical attributes as to the color, the physical features. I think it's kind of the same. So it's really hard to distinguish Thai from Malaysian, from Filipinos, from Indonesian, I think.
Lovely. That is nice. ครับทุกท่านครับอย่านิ่งเงียบนะครับเป็นโอกาสที่ดีในการที่จะพูดคุยกับเขาไม่ต้องอายนะครับภาษาอังกฤษเราต้องฝึกนะฮะจะถามคำถามยากหรือง่ายนะผมก็คิดว่าเขาก็ฟังเรารู้เรื่องนะครับเรียนเชิญนะครับเรียนเชิญเป็นโอกาสที่ดีแล้วนะครับในการพูดคุยกับทางชาวต่างชาตินะครับ
Then I have some questions. Ricmar, can you hear me?
This I know her.
I also English language also not good. I have some question about. I just know Philippine use Filipino language along with English as the official language. It makes me think that Philippines are very good at English, and what the language more important for official language. So in everyday life, what the language do general communication use? Yeah,
In our
thank you.
country, what are the
Yeah.
common in daily lives? What are the common language that we use in terms of communication? So it varies from place to place. If you go to the capital, the Manila, within Metro Manila or the Luzon part, most of the people there speak Tagalog and English. Sometimes it's a mixture. We call it Taglish. They usually mix Tagalog and English to communicate with other people on daily lives. As for the other place, like for mine, I came from the southern part. We also have a certain dialect when it terms to communicating. We call it Bisaya. So we converse or we engage into conversation is also mixed. We use Bisaya, which is our dialect, Tagalog, the official language, and English. It depends on the setting that we are being involved, like for meetings with different stakeholders, we use English. With meetings with politicians for a certain project implementation, we use English. But when engaging with a casual friend, it's usually a mixture between our own dialect and English. So it has become like, there are some words that we use, English words that we use in our daily conversations. It's very common to say, "How are you? What are you doing? Did you have lunch? What did you have for lunch today?" Something like a casual conversation in our day. That's some of the some of the language that we use in dealing with daily lives and communicating with people that's around us. What is the role of women engaged in forest management? So this is very interesting question, because in many seminars, it's always been emphasized the gender neutrality or the gender opportunities for both men and women. How to fill in the gaps in gender issue in terms of forest management. I think in our country, patriarchal is still present. Like in most higher positions in the government are usually how to say occupied by men, and women are on a lower position. But we have now seen an increase of women empowerment in terms of leadership positions, be it in the government, in people's organization, or in rural communities. We have one people's organization in our place that the president is a woman. So the involvement of women in terms of leadership and taking up their spaces in the society in our country has now becoming increasing, but still it's more of a patriarchal culture, like men always dominate. How about in Thailand? What is the role of women in forest management? Does anyone has a question?
I think it's the same, the Philippines, but now we try to promote the women to have a chance to promote in the forestry sector, and also in the community forest. Yeah, we have the head is for the women. That is a very good opportunity to promote the role of the
Yes.
women. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to fill in the gaps between like opportunities for both genders. I think we're heading in the right direction in terms of gender equality. And also in Thailand, also we have members of the LGBTQ plus communities are also involved, right? In certain activities, Thailand has been very open with in terms to LGBTQ,
yes.
as far as I've known, because I think it has to do with the Buddhism religion where you embrace the particular person regardless of their sexual orientation or how are they going to identify themselves. I think it's a great progress, or it's a great opportunity for other also member of the society to get involved and have the equal opportunities. Anything else? Don't be shy. Oh, we have Pata, we put raise her
Hello,
or his
Ricmar.
hand up. Hey, good
I have
afternoon.
a
How are
question.
you? Yes, go on.
In this Philippines, in this land of is the ring of fire, is this a volcano? I want to know the disadvantage of having a volcano in the country for the ecosystem. You please take you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that very wonderful questions. As you may have known, just a little fun fact about our country, we are located in the Ring of Fire. So basically, we experience a lot of natural disasters annually. Like on average, we experience at least 20 typhoons in a year. So these typhoons can cause damage to economies, people living in coastal areas, and disrupt economic activities and most likely to get the poor people even worse off. So I think it's a common, like it's a natural phenomenon. We cannot, how to say, we cannot reverse the effect of these natural phenomena because it's a product of our activities. What we could do is to adapt to this to adapt to these natural disasters. So for coastal communities, they should be resilient. They should have an adaptation plan. Government should provide grants so when typhoon strikes the community, something like just to start up. So right now, in terms of the climate change adaptation in the country, we just institutionalized the Climate Change Commission, which are mandated to manage or to get involved in climate disasters decisions in policy and also in implementation of projects that are related to climate change mitigation and adaptation, and also the creation of the climate change fund where affected communities could get loan or grants from the government just to start up from just to bounce back from the disaster that they are experiencing. As to the volcanoes, we have few numbers of active volcanoes that has been like erupting, but the people in the area, as far as I know, trying to adapt from this phenomenon because we cannot do we cannot control natural disaster. It will just happen. What we can do is to prepare and to adapt to these conditions and be able to resilience and bounce back from it. I hope I answered the question. Anything else? What I know? I think we have this one volcano in the Philippines. It's the Taal volcano, and then one of the research that current research have found out in a group of researchers doing studies in Taal volcano. They have found this particular, I don't know, it's a substance or it's something to do with could help cure cancer, something like that. But the particular compound or particular thing that they found that could help cure cancer is still in development process. I don't know, but it's already being reported in like news that this researcher, I forgot the name of that particular thing that they found in the Philippines. I think it's more of a disadvantage of having a volcano because it will, from time to time, it will eventually erupt and then the ecosystem changes when the eruption takes place. So it's like build settling in a particular ecosystem and then the eruption happens and then the ecosystem will have to, build up again.
Thank you for
And
explaining, Ricmar.
thank you so much for your question.
So refers to the last answer that you said about the volcano erupted. I would like to know that, like now, that many years ago, the volcano name is Pinatubo. Do you think that
Yes.
Pinatubo now is still active or already dead?
Right. Pinatubo is still active, but the chances of eruption is most likely low. But we cannot tell because it could eventually, like in Taal volcano, no one predicted that it will erupt in 2019. That's was supposedly I will be coming home to conduct my thesis, but my flight was canceled because the Taal volcano erupted. So Pinatubo is still active, but the chances of another eruption will probably takes a couple of years, but the community should be prepared when the eruption happens. And I think policies and interventions from the government in terms of adaptation measures are being implemented in those areas. How about in Thailand? Do you guys also have active volcanoes? Or how often Thailand experience natural disasters? So I think there's no more question.
No. I'm so sorry. I forgot that to switch on my microphone.
Okay, and I would like to share.
Hi, Ravi.
Yes,
It's nice to see you.
I just come back from the field because today we go to visit the farmer on site. For Thailand, we have the volcano that we promote to be the urban forestry in the Sisakate province. I'm not sure this Khao Kadong volcano that are located in Sisakate in the northeastern of Thailand. So for maybe 15 years ago, I go to the survey over there, and I'm not sure about that. Now they are promote or contribute this project. I don't know that about the process of them. Is that it's very small, but about the ecosystem is different from another place. I think it's not very cool like your country. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing.
I have some the thing of famous about durian from Siskiyou province, like that, something like that. Them have promote about durian
Durian
have signature
products.
durian products. Yeah, from volcano, right? Area, yes. Yeah. That's the one thing I just know, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Also, durian is also like I think it can be grown in most of the ASEAN regions. Having the tropical setting. I think in our country also durian is being grown and produced, and some of it were being exported to like China, Japan. And when I was still in Beijing, I saw durian product that's coming from the Philippines. When I saw the price, it's very expensive, and like the quality is not that good, different from the locally produced one. So, but I don't
Ricmar,
eat durian.
Yeah. You don't eat durian because of the durian smelly or what?
Does I think it has something to do with the smell. You know,
Oh.
like if you eat durian, like I have this one experience when I went back to the Philippines, and then when I went back to China, I brought some durian candies, and I give those candies from my international friends from UK, from African countries, from from your other Europeans, and they all don't like the taste. They don't like the smell. They don't like the taste, and
yes, Ricmar, don't worry. If you stay with me, I will give some medicine for you. And I think if you test the durian from Sisakate province, you will like I forgot the technical term. It's very delicious because they plant in the soil is the signature, and yes, it's different from that you taste from in Beijing
how
because
about
of
this?
the taste and the
Yeah,
smell is
different.
different.
The smell is
Yeah,
different, right? It's not that
different,
Yes,
right?
stinky.
yes.
Okay. But I eat durian like ice cream that's durian flavor, candy that's but the fruit itself I usually don't eat. I think I am the only one in our family that who doesn't like to eat durian.
Yes.
If have some chance, I think you need to try about Thai durian. Yeah.
Sure, I'm open to
Yeah.
possibilities.
We will have about experience a new experience for durian taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank
nice
you.
seeing you again, Rabib.
Okay.
After
Thank you.
does anyone
So
have
Ricmar,
yes?
Ricmar, we plan to invite you to join for the next training course in time, maybe nearly the end of November next year, if the situation it allows for the COVID-19 position. One thing that would like to answer your question you asked before this one. For the volcano is in Thailand, we say that it's inactive for more than 1 million years. As Labiab says, is that some province like Sisakate, they have the soil that's producing from their own volcano. That's give a very good quality for planting. So like now, the farmer over there, they put the soil into the bag and sell across the country. And then they can mix with the others of kind of soil for growing the plant. And the answer for the disaster, Thailand is quite lucky that very quite a rare case that we hit with the natural disaster. The huge disaster one happened in the years of 2007 when the tsunami hit the southern part of Thailand and cost more than 5,000 people life. That's the largest of the natural disaster we have.
I saw the movie I think they have a movie about the typhoon in Phuket. I think it's in Phuket, right? Or which part of Thailand does
Yes,
did
yes,
it
Phuket.
I saw a movie about this. It's like a British tourist having a vacation in Phuket, and they experienced the tsunami. It's pretty bad situation.
I saw too. The same way, I think. โอเคทุกท่านมีคำถามจะถามคุณลิกมาเพิ่มเติมไหมครับเนาะอาจจะเหนื่อยกันแล้วเนาะถ้าอย่างนั้นเนี่ยนะเดี๋ยวขอบคุณเขานะฮะขอตัวแทนขอบคุณคุณลิกมา1 คนได้ไหมครับคุณพรทิพย์ก็ได้นะครับคุณพรทิพย์เป็นตัวแทนเรากล่าวหน่อยนะครับ
Thank you so much อย่างเดียวได้ไหมคะ
เฮ้ยหลักสูตรภาษาอังกฤษเราเต็มที่เลยครับเอาเลยครับ
นึกไม่ออกเลย
ไม่เป็นไรเอาตามที่เราคิดได้
Lily, Ricmar, today I really very thankfully that you give share experience and share the PowerPoint and the all knowledge of Philippines, right? That is interesting for me so much, and I think all people also think like that. So today, Lily, thank you so much. Nice, nice to meet you. Okay, goodbye and see you again if have chance in the future, Lily. Thank you so much. Yeah.
ขอบคุณค่ะยินดีที่ได้รู้จัก Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was nice.
Yes, thank you very much, Ricmar, for joining our program today and devoting your time. It's that we are very happy that we can learn a lot from you as well. So next time, if you have the free time and you allow us to invite you again, please accept our invitation. And also today, thank you very much and accept our good appreciation to you.
Thank you so much, Director Picha, for such an amazing opportunity. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. We'll see you next
Bye-bye.
time.
Good day
ครับก็แขกสปีกเตอร์ของเราก็จบอีกหนึ่งท่านนะครับก็พอจะเห็นนะครับความแตกต่างระหว่าง accent ของเมื่อวานเนปาลกับทางฟิลิปปินส์นะครับซึ่งเขาก็จะมีเรื่องของความก็เรียกว่า strong accent นะครับทางภาษาฟิลิปปินส์นี่จะเห็นได้ชัดเลยนะครับสำหรับพรุ่งนี้นะครับแขกรับเชิญของเราก็จะมาจากบ้านใกล้เรือนเคียงของเราคือจากเวียดนามนะครับเป็นเจ้าหน้าที่จากกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวของเวียดนามนะครับบอกสักนิดนึงคือทางเจ้าหน้าที่ท่านนี้เนี่ยสามารถที่จะพูดไทยได้นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นถ้ามีประเด็นต่างๆเนี่ยแต่ว่าเราก็อยากให้พูดภาษาอังกฤษให้มากนะครับเพราะเป็นหลักสูตรที่เราฝึกภาษาอังกฤษนะครับวันนี้ก็ขอบคุณทุกท่านมากนะครับที่อยู่ร่วมกันแล้วก็เรียนรู้ร่วมกันไปนะครับหวังว่าพรุ่งนี้หลักสูตรที่เราเรียนก็จะเข้มข้นแล้วก็ทุกท่านก็จะได้มีเวลากลับไปทบทวนนะฮะแล้วก็พยายามฝึกบ่อยๆนะครับในอนาคตอย่างที่เรียนว่าทางสำนักต่างประเทศเนี่ยก็จะมีการจัดหลักสูตรลักษณะนี้รวมถึงหลักสูตรที่แอดวานซ์ขึ้นมาท่านที่สนใจเนี่ยก็สามารถที่จะฟิตตัวแล้วก็เตรียมตัวนะครับเข้าเรียนเพราะว่าเราคงจะต้องมีเกณฑ์ในการที่จะคัดเลือกนะฮะว่าหลักสูตรต่อไปก็จะเข้มข้นขึ้นไม่ว่าจะเป็นหลักสูตร presentation นะครับหลักสูตรเรื่องของการนำเสนอหลักสูตรการเป็นเลซองนะฮะหลักสูตรของการที่เข้าประชุมระหว่างประเทศนะครับนะฮะก็ขอบคุณมากนะครับวันนี้นะครับแล้วก็พบกันใหม่วันพรุ่งนี้นะครับ